Welcome to the first episode of Jordan on the Air. This is my new podcast, my first podcast, and special guest is my sister Crystal. And today we're going to have our sister chat. We're going to be talking about family. So, a variety of subtopics on family and just mainly based off of our personal family. So, I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
So the first one I have based on family is sibling relationships.
Mm.
I know that we are a big family of five,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yes.
is I'm the youngest, and
I'm the middle.
you are dead smack in
That's
the
back in the
middle.
Yeah.
Um, I think I wanted to touch base on our different relationships as siblings. I don't think a lot of people we don't come from that. Unfortunately, we don't come from that sibling relationship where we're all equally close.
Mm-hmm.
I think each dynamic we are close separately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like me and you were super close, but even the sibling that I grew up with, we're not that close.
Right.
Or
Right.
even the oldest who you would think we would go to for advice, we're not that close.
Right.
And then we have our oldest brother who we admire,
Adore.
so much. So just wanted to get your opinion on
Yeah.
that.
Well, I think we first have to give, excuse me, a little background or explanation about that because there are five of us collectively. But just to clarify that, our families are joined by our parents. We're blended.
Yeah.
So let's say when our dad met your mom, your mom had two kids. Dad already had me.
Yeah.
They came together, and then you and Jonathan came along,
Right.
Which was phenomenal. But for me, growing up more so with my mom, staying with dad on the weekends and the summers and things like that, I had that only child experience. So when I came into the threshold of having older siblings first, right? I really loved it. And I took to our older brother, who's 8 years older than me, Jamel, much more than I did to our older sister, who's the oldest of the five. And so him and I have always had some sort of closeness.
Yeah.
Then came along Jonathan, then you, and I was just like infatuated, like, oh my God, I have younger siblings. I get to be a big sister. And so the dynamic of you guys when everyone was younger was fair, right? We were close. I was big sister, you were little sister. It was fine. I think that the complexity started to come more as we got older.
Yeah.
Right. Because I didn't grow up in the household. So I just wanted to touch base on that because you said the sibling that you were raised with, which was Jonathan, because we are different generations. Our older siblings are in their 40s. I'm in my 30s. You and Jonathan are in your 20s.
Right.
And so that's three different generations of kind of upbringing. And I think as we got older, it got a little more complex because I wasn't in the house as much.
Right.
I was there for a couple of years, but there came a time when the need to have a relationship had to be more intentional.
I think as we got older, as my parents transitioned into not being together any longer.
The war zone, yeah.
Right.
We'll just call that.
So me being the youngest, there's bigger age gaps for me. So like as for my oldest sister, I'm 20 years apart from her. Then Jamel 19, you 11.
They don't claim that.
And Jonathan 3. So
we're more like 5 years apart. We don't claim that. Continue.
So it didn't. Me growing up with Jonathan didn't give me the chance to have the relationship that I have with you today.
Right.
Just because we are apart in age, you were, off in college. I didn't understand the capacity of, oh my gosh, I have a sister, somebody to confide in.
Right.
Because yes, I know I have my mom, but it's something about that sister relationship that you have certain conversations with that sister.
Yeah, and I miss that. Now that you said that, that's crazy that you said that because that just makes me feel like I wish I would have been that big sister for you even when I was in college.
Yeah.
Calling home, checking in on you more, and just like, hey, what you doing? Going, like while you were in high school, going to the high school I went to, now that you said that, I've always had this idea or perception that Okay, we're speaking about families. We have a little one here.
We have a little one here.
So
new addition
to the family.
New addition to the family.
I guess I didn't realize my impact and lack thereof, like with my presence, and just I don't know why. I don't know if I didn't feel like it was necessary, or maybe it wasn't needed on your end, right? Maybe I felt like at the time, yeah. And I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it now, and I probably can't. But thinking, okay, she's grown up with Jonathan. She's in the house. She has Jamel and whoever else that she can be close, but maybe she doesn't need me, right? So I was sometimes, and not really because anybody made me feel this way, so I can't blame this on anyone, but kind of just feel like the oddball out because I was the stepdaughter. I'm the only one who doesn't come from Juju, right? From your mom. So, and again, our family dynamic has changed so much over the years. We've had the good, the bad, the crazy, the war zone. And in those moments when the parents are feuding, the kids sometimes kind of just, I don't want to say don't feel safe, but we're just kind of like, all right,
I think I was checked out.
Yeah, you probably were.
I was checked out. I grew up in a house. Parents argued damn near every day. I just checked out. It was background noise.
It's the relationship that should have ended 10 years sooner than it did.
Yeah. Not. I don't know why they stayed in one house. I don't think I'll ever.
Stay cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah,
I told them this to their face. At that point in time, they were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Right. And I'll ask my mom today, like, why didn't you leave? You know what I mean? She always says, well, I tried. I'm like, okay, that's for...
No judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also expected growing up with Jonathan for us to be close, but I realized...
You're different.
We're completely different.
You and Jonathan are different. You and Jonathan are different. You have different...
But we are... we're opposites.
I think you guys had different values even when you were kids. You had different needs even when you were kids. Jonathan,
even based off of just the friends we had around.
Of course, that's what I was about to say. Jonathan was needed to be around friends, be social, be out there, be liked, be class clown. And you were like, no, I'm good on all that. I can be right here in the cut in the corner. I don't need to be out there.
I don't need to.
Yes, I think as you get older and older, you just keep realizing, no, I don't like that. That's weird for me, right? So.
And they say opposites attract, but we're just the opposites that don't attract. I was just like, people would be like, oh my God, I love your brother. I'm like, you can have him.
How do you want me to wrap him up for you? Let me just drop him off?
I'll drop him off. You can take him.
Yeah, no, Jonathan. Yeah, he Jonathan definitely. I remember even my friends in high school used to always say, like, they always had stories about Jonathan. I mean, I have stories about him, but we won't get into that. But he was definitely always the one that brought that funny, just
he always brought that unnecessary humor that we really needed.
Yeah.
Because everything he did was unnecessary. It was just
very unnecessary.
Always out there.
Yeah.
Causing chaos.
Like taking a dump behind the bleachers of my high school when I was doing track practice. Unnecessary? Yes, but funny. Very unnecessary.
Very. Because John, you couldn't hold it till we got home?
No.
And Dad, you weren't watching him? What happened?
The story goes, as I'm told, Jonathan asked Daddy, like, he told Daddy, I got to go to the bathroom. And Dad was like, all right, we'll go. You know where bathrooms at. Like, we were at the high school, go. Right. Or no, I think Dad thought he had to pee. Do number one. Right, and he said, well, go ahead. So for little boys, quick, zip, zip, zip. Right. Jonathan came back covered in poop. And Dad was like, what? And so I looked up in the bleachers. I saw them. And then 20 minutes later, I looked up and everybody was gone. I was like, oh, where did my family go? And when Dad came back to pick me up, and he was like, pointed to the pile of poop behind the bleachers. He said, you see that right there? I was like, yeah. He's like, that's your brother's. And I was like, okay, just pull off. Just pull off.
It's time to wrap it up.
If he wasn't pooping behind the bleachers, he was playing in the sandbox that was not for him to play in. It was for the long jump. Mm-hmm. It was just always something with Jonathan, but it was comedic relief for sure.
I also wanted to touch base back on you always saying, you said that you always felt like the oddball out because you're the step sibling.
Yeah.
But even me being the youngest, I always felt like, I was like, oh, okay, that's not for me. Like, I don't need to get involved in that. Like, that's for the older siblings. Or maybe my likes and what I'm into is just different from them. Like, I always felt different from you guys for a long time until I got older. Then obviously me, you, and Jamel, we
realize how alike and similar. Yeah,
how alike and mentally we're just like that, and we can literally finish each other's sentences, bounce off of each other quickly.
Yes.
The comeback, we talk a lot
It's
of
a
shit in
beautiful
this family.
dynamic. It is.
So it was just interesting because I don't think a lot of younger siblings out there talk about how they also feel like they're the oddball out. Like, we're spoiled because we're the youngest, and at this point, our parents are tired. So it's like, okay,
Baby, because I was always confused. Why is she eating crab legs at 3 years old? So we don't got no peanut butter or jelly? Because that's what I had. So we're not giving out oatmeal anymore. We don't have oatmeal for breakfast anymore, right? Here. Oh, okay. Okay, Jordan.
I also vividly remember, I think when we were growing up in the house, and you had to make us breakfast, you gave us oatmeal.
You're damn right. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't even know if that saying goes for this conversation, but we had oatmeal growing up. I had to eat oatmeal or farina, right? But Judy, and Thomas was making y'all fish and grits and shrimp and eggs and crab legs. And I was like, ooh, bon appetit. No, we're not doing that.
Right.
So she's like, oh, go make them something to eat. You want a boiled egg and a sausage? Because sometimes I just felt like I had to bring y'all back down to grace.
Like, this is before you fully got here.
Let me explain to you how the hard knock life is.
You've been in my life since I was 2.
Yeah, let me explain. Because your parents is soft. Your parents got older and they got soft. Okay? So they was out here giving y'all whatever y'all wanted. And that's why you was, go out to restaurants. You was sitting there, yeah, I'll have the crab cakes. Sis, you never heard of chicken sticks, chicken fingers, a french fry? So yeah, I felt like it was my responsibility to humble the household. Because y'all out here living bourgeois. It's a beautiful thing,
Right,
but
right.
Let me bring y'all back to basics.
It's like a smack in the face, though.
It is. You want a cracker with that soup? Would you like a bon appetit cracker?
Right.
But no, it's nice. So looking back at it, it could look like, oh, you just a hater because you had it differently. Possibly. I was a teenager. I don't know.
Jamel feels the same way.
Yeah.
He tells us all the time how he grew up and what he had to eat versus what me and my brother grew up with. So,
and now that I have my child,
I think that's normal in big age gaps.
Yeah, with the big age gaps, right? Because you see your younger siblings, you're just like,
right.
What's going on here?
Right.
Oh, so we're not gonna pop them for that? That's okay. We're just gonna have conversation.
We're just gonna walk away.
Okay. All right. When your mother turn her back, I'm gonna pop you. How about that?
But Jonathan enjoyed getting popped. He just laughed at it.
I mean, Jonathan,
he took everything as a joke.
Somewhat of a nut job, but
tough skin right there.
Tough skin. Yeah, he definitely did. But no, I honestly you grow to appreciate the fact that your younger siblings grew up differently. I know for a fact, now that Jamel has kids, his kids are growing up differently from the way he was raised. Mm-hmm. My son will grow up differently from the way I was raised. And it's a beautiful thing. You get it. Like, you get it now once you have kids. Yeah. Of course, we joke on it because we're the siblings to you guys and not your parents. And so
you want the parents to remember what they did.
Let's not even go there. Let me not have a flashback, okay? Because there's so much I could talk about. And another thing. Right? So, no, but it's just something that we get to joke about now, but definitely something I was just like, these MFs are spoiled.
Because even our niece, when we went out to dinner one time, she was like, I was like, you guys, just order for yourself. She's like, well, I want a filet mignon. I said, even I gave her a look. I was like, you want
First of all, spell it.
Spell it first.
Second of all, no. You're going to get a skirt steak if I let you get a skirt steak. Can we see the kid menu, please? No. But it's cute to me now. Like, it's adorable, right? But when you're 16, you're just like, I don't think I was ever mad about it. I think it was just, it was just comedy. Yeah. Like, Judy, your daughter just ordered crab legs at the restaurant.
And you're going to okay this?
And she was like, she eats what she eats. All right. Next time I decide to get fries with my chicken sandwich when we pull up to McDonald's, don't judge me, Judy. Don't judge me. Okay? Right. I can't large it, but she can get a crab leg. I get it.
Right. I think also having multiple siblings, you kind of are put into a background in sort of a way. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Me growing up with Jonathan, for him it was sports.
Right. For Him and dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% of the time. It was very much annoying. It was like I don't like I'm going to the game because I know my friends are there.
Right.
I don't really care about this. I don't care what meal he needs after the game. I think I remember one time I had a friend over and we ordered a pizza. I'm hosting my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was in middle school probably.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I ordered the pizza. We had our pizza, and Dad looked at me like, "That's not
Bless you.
cool. What's your brother gonna eat?" I'm
Oh.
like, "He's not my child." So really and truly, what
Wow.
does that have to do with me?
So you ordered the pizza and ate it,
Between me and my friend,
and that's
right? Dad said, "Well, what is your brother gonna eat?"
mm-hmm.
Well, this is the money I saved up. My friend also brought cash. So this is pizza for us.
Mm.
This is my play date. This is my hosting.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm like, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I understand you want me to be sharing and this, that, and the third, but I share everything in this house.
And so you know I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Knowing Dad, you know he wants us to grow up the way he did.
Yeah.
So he is still extremely close with his brothers, and so they share everything.
Yeah.
And you know they probably my mom too. She's the baby of 10. They grew up in households where
Right. We both come from parents with a lot of
a
siblings.
lot of siblings,
Yeah.
right? So they have the household. They have this idea that if we get a box of pizza or whatever it is, think of your brother, right? Like, oh, let me put a piece aside for my brother, right? Let me
Right.
put a slice aside for Jonathan or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So, just playing devil's advocate, because I have no idea if this is true, but he may have been saying, like, oh, that's not cool. Like, oh, you didn't save anything for your brother, and you know there's two of you in this house. But, however, you're taking that as, why do you always make him a factor, right?
Right.
It's not enough that you go to every sports game, we're going to every practice. It doesn't feel like you're invested in me, right? Just taking from your perception. It doesn't feel like you're invested in me. Everything is centered around him. That's how I feel, right? And the one time I get to do something that I want to do,
Right.
the first thing to me is, oh, that's not cool. What about your brother?
Yeah.
What about him? Can I have a thought without him? Can I do something that doesn't concern him?
Right.
And I think that's the part that Dad forgets. I won't say he forgets it. Although you want your kids to be close as siblings and think of each other and consider each other in every factor,
Right.
they still have to be individuals, and everybody needs their moment to themselves. And I don't think he realized in that small moment that you felt overshadowed, that you felt swallowed, that you didn't feel seen enough,
Right.
and you were having a moment with your friends being seen. And he kind of was like, oh, but what about Jonathan? You were just like, bro,
Right.
what about him? And because of that dynamic, I think that's what makes you probably feel like, get away from me, Jonathan, right? Because it's not his fault, right?
No.
Because, he just grew up the way he grew up. But it's everybody's role they play into that makes you feel like, okay, I want nothing to do with anybody now. That's what you thought, because that's
Small
how
tolerance over here. Small tolerance.
Now everybody's on my list, baby.
Everybody's on my shit list. I had a shit list pretty early on.
You did. I think you really did. I know we never had this conversation, but on your face, there was a certain thing in your face as people walked into the house or came around or they did something to you. You can see that you were registering that, okay, you just made the list. You're on it.
Yeah.
At like 6. You could see the disgust in your face, like
aunties, uncles,
parents, everything. You're on it. You're on it. And you're not coming off.
Don't think I forgot.
Don't think I forgot.
I'm not going to. Yes, it's nice to have a big family, though.
It really is. It really, really
look
is.
back and you're like, I appreciate those moments where I laughed and we had always have our fights and fights and disagreements.
Yeah.
But it builds a stronger relationship. Like I know me and Jamal had that one big fallout because I lived with him at one point and definitely was disrespectful. I can admit to that. But it definitely brought us closer.
Sure.
Today, even as siblings, even when I was helping take care of his kids.
Yeah.
Early in their babyhood, their childhood.
That's the one thing I think I admired most about Jamal, our older brother, is that his ability to forgive and love his family unconditionally. It's, I've had to learn a lot about forgiveness over the years. My idea of forgiveness is like, sure,
Right.
I forgive you. I'm never gonna talk to you again. But all is forgiven.
I don't think I'm fully there.
Yeah,
I think I can say it like, yeah, I forgive you, but in the same sentence, I don't fuck with you at all.
yeah. I don't even think I even. You're right. I don't even think I say like, oh, I forgive you. I just be like, yeah, I'm good.
Right.
We good. Like I'm that. I'm not gonna let that bother me no more. Stay over there. Never talking to you again. It was a
Because the minute the name comes up, okay.
and that not for me. Like if the
Yeah.
name comes up, I can have conversations around it. Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But will I invest in like a relationship with you? Absolutely not. So for me,
Right.
I'm thinking, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine. Oh yeah, I forgive people all the time. And then God said, how are you forgiving them, but you don't deal with them anymore? And when I forgive you, I still got to look in your face every day, right? Like God is like, no, but I constantly forgive you, and I still got to come back,
Mm-hmm.
answer them prayers,
Mm-hmm.
send them blessings, do all
Mm-hmm.
these things.
Mm-hmm.
But your version of forgiveness is that you ain't dealing with them.
Mm-hmm.
So God keeps making me go through that lesson again because let's struggle. That's just me. Forgive you, but stay away from me.
Right. Especially if it's family, I think like small conversations and keeping it just at that point. I think a bit of that happened even
Mm-hmm.
recently at Thanksgiving. I think with certain family members, we just kept it short, cute, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because after I say something else, then you're going to take it too far, and then I'm really going to get annoyed
Right.
with you. You want to be in charge. That's fine. Be in charge. I'll let you run the show. You know what? I'm going to go over here and go talk to my niece, even though she doesn't feel like having a conversation. We're going to get
Yeah.
into a conversation now. Because I just need, at that point, I need to turn my mind off
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
just detach. Because
Yeah.
then I'm getting my feelings, and I am the sensitive one.
We all are.
We all are sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and I don't know, maybe it's because we have me being a little older. Um, I think I I tend to, no, you say I tend to. I'm learning to appreciate even the craziness that comes with the family,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because I think for me growing up, it was about, I don't want to say, I guess control is probably the right word. Like if you didn't fit into my box of what I think this should be in terms of loyalty, how you should treat me, how you should respect me, how you should regard me, and
Mm.
how we should have this kind of relationship, I wouldn't do that, right? Like it's trying to control the dynamics of who people are and how we
Yeah.
function.
Yeah.
As I got older, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to control it. Don't want to. I don't want you to be anything other than who you are, because at least I get to have the authentic relationship with you, or not, right? And that's
Right.
fine too. Um, but it just makes me appreciate the difference, right? Like it makes me appreciate and love the crazy aunties, the fun uncles, our sarcastic brother who could get under your skin in one moment and then be the first person you call in a jam in the next moment, right?
Right.
And so you have to learn how to love all of what people have to offer.
Right.
We can decompartmentalize and say, okay, I just don't like that component, and that's fine, right?
Right.
But for me, if I know it gets to a point where it's people or something about someone who I really just, they rub me the wrong way most
Yeah.
times,
Mm-hmm.
then I have a time limit on how long I'm gonna be around. That's
Yeah.
just
I
me,
think
right?
that's
Like
the thing.
because
Right.
I'm trying to be more mindful of being pleasant with my presence, right?
Right.
And
Right.
being more mindful of my attitude and what I bring into the space, and making sure that
Yeah.
people leave me feeling good too.
I like that. Like I know you're my auntie, but I can only give you 5 minutes of my time.
You got 25 minutes total for Thanksgiving. Now, however you want to use that 25 minutes is up to you. You want to knock it all out in the first conversation? Because I'm counting. Or you want to break this up? How you want
Right.
to do this? So you want to
Right.
start for 7 minutes on the walk-in, maybe another 3 when we sitting down having meals, chew chew,
Right.
pour,
Right.
and then you want to follow up later on during the game. But if you go over 25, matter of fact, if you test me at 19,
Mm-hmm.
you might get cut short. You got 25.
Right.
And that's for the people who just get under my skin a little bit.
Yes.
But for the most part, I don't have too much of that.
Yeah. I also wanted to bring up like between sibling relationships, there's obviously the extroverts and the introverts.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a long while you thought you were an extrovert.
Sure did.
And then you were like, I don't like being around these people. I'm actually an introvert. So for myself,
Yeah.
I'm 100% an introvert.
Yeah.
But I think even around siblings, I think even for introverts, there's some like yourself, you feed off energy, so you kind of
Sure.
bring out that extrovert.
Sure.
But for the introverts that even around extrovert people, we're still like introvert. We're still
Yeah.
like
You're
I'll let you take the lead. I think I've always let you just take the lead.
yeah. You know what's funny is that I thought I was an extrovert all my life because I'm comfortable talking to people. I'm comfortable in most situations. I don't even know if I know the true definition of an extrovert, but I've always had that personality, right? That it
Mm-hmm.
just seemed like I was a natural at something. And I was like inside, like, oh my God, this is cringy for me, right?
Right.
Again, you get older, you realize I don't really like this. I don't,
Right.
I've had to do it, right? You have to speak, you have to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But what's your preference? My preference is to be around my people,
Yeah.
right? Yes, I'm fine around most people, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as we're not being disrespectful and, there's no craziness going on, no chaos. But I am my light switches on 1,000 when it's my trusted core people, my
Yeah.
family, my
Yeah.
friends, the people who I can be vulnerable with. Um, but yeah, I am definitely an introvert, and you are introvert to the core through and through because we talk about this. I say I have a switch, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to hit the switch, sometimes you got to hit it twice. Put the backup generator on.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt on Thanksgiving when I walked the door. I was like, oh Jesus.
Let me hit this switch.
And I knew I had to go. I knew I had to be present and
Yeah.
pleasant because the baby's first Thanksgiving. Everybody wanted to see him, and I was like, "Ooh, baby!" But to the core of me, I just wasn't in a good headspace,
Mm-hmm.
and that requires me to become an extrovert. That
Yeah.
requires me to like engage in conversation, and because I truly do care how I make people feel,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you feel good with this conversation. So I'm talking to
Right.
the in-laws, the aunties, and the uncles, and I really just want to sit in the corner and just be that person. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I want to be you, where people know don't say nothing to Jordan, let her be, and they're good with that.
Right.
They don't let me be you, right? Sometimes I want to chill, and they be like, "What's wrong with you, girl?"
Right. Because you've
I'm
always came out with
chilling.
that bubbly
I'm
personality.
chilling.
Yeah.
I don't feel like bubbling today.
Right. Right.
So I think that's the beauty in staying true to who you are, being an introvert, because people get used to it and they know there's no disrespect in it. They say Jordan's just reserved. She's in herself. She's in her own
Yeah.
little world.
Mm-hmm.
With me, the second I'm not turned on, that switch is not on, everybody's like, what's the problem? What's the thing? And it's like, nothing. I'm chilling. I'm just sitting in my observation space and
Right. Right.
I'm good.
I even as I was growing up, and I would go out, but I would obviously be with mommy majority of the time, or we
Mm-hmm.
would go to our family reunions. I'm on her hip, like I'm like okay, because you're as my mother, you're gonna take the lead. You're gonna be that voice. You're
Yeah, my
gonna,
mom does that for me too.
you know what I mean. I'm gonna hide behind you.
Oh yeah, my mom does that. I can always count on Alicia to be extra energy. She's a firecracker by nature, and I think that's why I'm so good at fading into the background. Like I love
Yeah,
that background stuff. I
yeah.
don't like
Even
forefront.
for events at like Jamel's house, I'm like I count on him because he's gonna steal the show. Everybody's gonna gravitate towards Jamel
But then he counts on us
because he calls out our name.
because even though he's comfortable being
Right.
at the forefront and having conversations, he still needs his core.
Mm,
So prior to events, Jamel will call us. What time are you getting here?
that is
What time are you coming? So I know how long I got to be on, right? Like it's fine to be on, right?
right.
But as long as you can look around the room and see a few of your people, you
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I don't mind being on. I don't mind coming around because I know if I go like this to you or Jamel, we good. My spirit is settled. Like my
Yeah.
anxiety is settled a little bit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. That's where I was growing up. I was comfortable with Judy always just being that person for me. But even today, it's you for me. It's you. I'm waiting outside the house, waiting for her to pull up so we could walk in together. I'm
That
not
was
going
so
in
rude.
without you.
That was so rude.
I'm not going in without you.
Jody, what
I
you
didn't
doing
even need to go
outside?
in first. I could have waited for you.
Right.
I did not take the food in on Thanksgiving first
No, you
because
didn't.
we didn't eat dinner till 6, and we said it was for 4.
Like
We
a
said
regular
four
black
o'clock.
family, we aim for greatness.
We should have said 2.
We should have said 12:30.
Should have said 12:30.
We having breakfast for Thanksgiving. Everybody be here by 9 o'clock. Okay. And maybe, only maybe then we will eat at a decent hour. But
Right.
6 is good for us. I ain't gonna even hold you. 6 is good for us, baby. Because the year before, 8, 9 o'clock, I was like, this is heathenous.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is disgusting. And God is not pleased.
Yeah. But yeah, you're my extrovert to my introvert.
Well, thank you.
I need you. Even when we do it to each other all the time. We're like, where you at? What time you leaving? What time you think you're gonna be there?
What time you going? So you're getting here 2? Okay.
Are you leaving the house
Is
now?
that a strong 2? I feel like 2:15 to you, because then I'm gonna pull in at 2:20.
Let me know when you're in your car. Call me when you're in the car.
Call me. Will you turn on the block? When you put the seatbelt on and then dial my number so we can time this out correctly. Listen, everybody needs their person. Everybody needs somebody who they can, feel comfortable around, man. Like it's like it's like a little bit of a security blanket, right?
Yeah.
It's attachment issues. I'm okay with it. I'm not saying like it's an issue.
Yeah.
I think the word issue makes it feel like it's bad.
I just told you the other day I was obsessed with you, so we're fine. We're okay. My obsession is real with my sister.
I'm obsessed with you. It's like, that's fine. Let's get to it. That's fine.
Yeah, because I think one day I was waiting outside Jamal's house. I was sitting in the car. I was like, I'm gonna wait for her.
Yes.
He came out. He pulled like, "So you waiting for your sister?" Absolutely.
It's the fact that he knew. He was like, "You waiting for your sister? All right, cool. All right, I'm going to the store.
I'll be right back.
And he pulls up to the next corner, and I was coming around, and this is the ridiculousness. I'm on my way to Jamel's house. He knows I'm coming over. I see him in his car. I'm in my car, and I get so excited to say, Jamel, honk, 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 honk. He's like, what up, Chris? What up? I'm like, hi, I'll see you soon. Like we don't see each other 3, 4, 5 times a week. It's an obsession.
We were both at his house, like, I'm gonna give you a hug. He was like, oh my god, I wanted to give him a hug too.
Come hug me, brother.
He's like, I just saw y'all.
It's, I am learning, and I am grateful for the family I have and the times that I get to share with you guys and love on you guys, because life is short.
Yeah.
2023 has taught me that. I mean, every year teaches us that, right? We lose a ton of people too early, and fast sometimes. And I'm just, growing up on one side with my mom as an only child, I am grateful to be able to say I have siblings. I have a baby sister. I'm just grateful for it. It's so, I'm an affectionate person anyway. So I know Jamel's like, don't hug me. And I'm like, I can care less. We know.
I'm not affectionate.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Yeah. I'm like that with outsiders, but no, I'm an affectionate person most times. Yeah, but no, it's good to love on your people and make sure they know how loved you are. I think that was one of the best moments for me at Thanksgiving. And I told Jamel this when we were standing in the circle and we were giving thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamel turned and was thinking family. He just looked at Weston. He said, "I'm so thankful for him, for my son." And I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna cry.
Our new addition.
Yeah.
A lot of us were thankful for this new addition.
I was just,
yeah.
It feels,
because we were already close, but